Are you ready for another magical story from the life of Krishna, the wise prince who walked the line between heaven and earth, between laughter and lightning? Then snuggle in, let your worries drift away, and listen closely. Because this is the story of how Krishna faced one of his fiercest enemies and defeated him not with weapons, but with wisdom. The city of Dwarka, Krishna's golden creation by the sea, shimmered under the sun like a dream brought to life. Birds flew freely through open courtyards. Children played in the gardens. The people were happy and safe, finally. After escaping the endless attacks of Jarasandha and Mathura, Krishna had built this divine city on an island, far from war and fear. But even in paradise, storms can rise. Far away beyond the great rivers and forests of Bharat, there lived a warlord named Kalayavana. He was not a king in the true sense. He had not earned love, only fear. His skin was dark as smoke, and his eyes burned red with pride. He had never lost a battle. His army was vast and wild, like something from another world. Kalayavana heard of Krishna, of the peace he had brought, the cities he had saved, the enemies he had outwitted. And instead of being humbled, Kalayavana laughed. Let's see how peaceful this god remains when I knock on his door. And so Kalayavana gathered his terrible army. Chariots made of iron soldiers who never slept, elephants trained for destruction. The earth trembled as they marched toward Dwarka. The people of Dwarka grew afraid. Another enemy? Already? Haven't we suffered enough? They whispered. But Krishna was not afraid. He stood upon the palace tower, looking out at the approaching storm. His eyes were calm, deeper than the sea itself. Beside him stood Balarama, strong as a mountain, ready for battle. But Krishna had another plan. When Kalayavana reached the gates of Dwarka, expecting battle, he saw something strange. The gates did not open with an army. There were no war drums, no soldiers, just Krishna, walking out alone, unarmed. He wore only his yellow silk dhoti and a gentle smile. No mace, no chakra, no shield. Kalayavana was stunned. He mocks me, he growled. But Krishna said nothing. He turned and began to walk away, casually, almost playfully, as if taking a stroll. Furious, Kalayavana shouted, "Coward, face me!" And he ran after Krishna. But no matter how fast he ran, Krishna stayed just ahead. Not too far, not too close, always just out of reach. It was like chasing a breeze that teases you and slips through your fingers. Through deserts and hills, Krishna led him, until finally they came to a hidden mountain cave. Krishna slipped inside, and Kalayavana, breathless and furious, charged in after him. Inside the cave, it was cool and quiet. Strange echoes danced across the stone walls, and in the center lay a man, sleeping. He was huge, taller than any man Kalayavana had ever seen. His skin was weathered like old rock, and his body radiated strength, even in slumber. "This must be one of Krishna's tricks," Kalayavana sneered. "Wake up, fool." And with no thought, no respect, no care, he kicked the sleeping man. The man opened his eyes, slowly, but when he did, his gaze was like the sun itself, ancient, fierce, blazing. Kalayavana didn't even have time to scream. In a single moment, he turned to ash. The warrior in the cave was no ordinary man. He was Muchukunda, a great king from ages past, who had once fought for the gods themselves. After years of endless war, the gods had granted him a special boon. "You have earned rest," they said. "Sleep until you are disturbed. And when you awaken, the one who disturbs you will be turned to ashes by your gaze." And so he had slept, through centuries. Krishna, in his divine wisdom, had known of Muchukunda, and had led Kalayavana straight into the cave, not with force, not with violence, but with patience and purpose. Outside, Krishna stood smiling, waiting for the ashes to settle. The storm had passed. When Krishna returned to Dwarka, the people rushed to him. "What happened? Did you slay Kalayavana?" Krishna smiled. "No," he said. "He defeated himself." The people looked confused, and so Krishna explained, "Not every enemy must be faced with a sword. Some bring their own destruction with them. We must know when to fight, and when to step aside and let time do its work." Balarama nodded quietly, for he too had learned something that day. And so, once again, Krishna had saved his people, not by rushing into war, but by walking a path no one else could see. And as the stars glimmered above Dwarka that night, the city slept peacefully, guarded not just by weapons, but by wisdom. So now, dear listener, close your eyes, breathe deeply, let Krishna's calm fill your dreams, because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is simply walk away from battle and let the truth take care of the rest. Good night.